The checklist. If you follow these simple instructions, you cannot fail. 1. Make a solemn vow that you will never, ever go online to visit your harem or settle down for static pictures or make peace with erotic graphics or anything that contains supranormal stimuli, and stick to your vow. 2. Get this clear in your mind. There is absolutely nothing to give up. By that I don't mean simply that you will be better off as a non-porn masturbation orgasmer. You've known that all this time. Nor do I mean that although there is no rational reason why you porn masturbation orgasm, you must get some form of pleasure or crutch from it, or you wouldn't do it. What I mean is there is no genuine pleasure or crutch in porn masturbation orgasming. It's just an illusion. It's an addiction, like banging your head against a wall to make it pleasant when you stop. 3. There is no such thing as a confirmed porn masturbation orgasmer. You are just one of the millions who have fallen for this subtle trap. Like millions of other ex-porn masturbation orgasmers who once thought they couldn't escape, you have escaped. 4. If at any time in your life you were to weigh up the pros and cons of porn masturbation orgasming, the overwhelming conclusion would always be a dozen times over, stop doing it. You are a fool. Nothing will ever change that. It always has been that way, and it always will be. Having made what you know to be the correct decision, don't ever torture yourself by doubting it. Going through Pascal's wager of no chances of loss, high chances of gains, high chances of avoiding losses perfectly applies to porn masturbation orgasm. 5. Don't try not to think about porn or worry that you are thinking about it constantly. But whenever you do think about it, whether it be today, tomorrow, or the rest of your life, think, yippee, I'm a non-porn masturbation orgasmer. 6. Do not use any form of substitute. Do not keep your laptop next to you when you go to sleep. Do not avoid plays or movies or magazines. Do not change your lifestyle in any way purely because you've stopped. If you follow the above instructions, you will soon experience the moment of revelation. More. But 7. Don't wait for a moment of revelation to come. Just get on with your life. Enjoy the highs and cope with the lows. You will find that in no time at all, the moment will arrive. Help the porn masturbation orgasmer left on the sinking ship. Porn masturbation orgasmers are panicking nowadays. They sense that there is a change in the way internet porn is perceived by men and women. Internet porn's addictive nature is being studied by more and more people. It is now rightly regarded not as the same as old traditional porn. Its easy reach and effortless availability raises alarm even in the hearts of porn supporters. They also sense that their crusade for free speech and free thought is being hijacked by vicious elements. The Wild West nature of the unpoliced internet makes it hard for enforcing age-restrictive access to supranormal stimuli. Yet I don't think this whole thing will be coming to an end anytime soon. Thousands of porn masturbation orgasmers are now stopping, and all porn users are conscious of the new brain studies that point their studied fingers to the similarities of drug and substance addiction. Every time a porn masturbation orgasmer leaves the sinking ship, the ones left on it feel more miserable. Every porn masturbation orgasmer instinctively knows that it is ridiculous to self-sabotage and spend time in front of two-dimensional pixels, treat the poor brain to super surges, develop porn brain water slides that will guarantee him unreliable erections and fading penetrations. If you still don't think it is silly, try talking to a porn magazine standing at the center of the city square and ask yourself what the difference is. Just one. You cannot get the pleasure of warmth and intimacy that way. If you can stop buying alcohol and cigarettes every time you go grocery shopping, you can definitely stop visiting your online harems. Porn masturbation orgasmers cannot find a rational reason for porn masturbation orgasming, but if someone else is doing it, they do not feel quite so silly. Porn masturbation orgasmers blatantly lie about their habit, not only to others and university researchers, but worst of all, to themselves. They have to. The brainwashing is essential if they are to retain some self-respect. They feel the need to justify their habit, not only to themselves, but to non-porn masturbation orgasmers. They are therefore forever advertising the illusory advantages of porn and porn masturbation orgasm by more subtler means. If a porn masturbation orgasmer stops using the willpower method, he still feels deprived and tends to become a moaner. All this does is to confirm to other porn masturbation orgasmers how right they are to keep porn masturbation orgasming. If the ex-porn masturbation orgasmer succeeds in kicking the habit, he is then grateful that he no longer has to go through life sabotaging himself or wasting energy. But he has no need to justify himself. He doesn't sit there saying how marvelous it is not to be a porn masturbation orgasmer. He will do that only if he is asked, and porn masturbation orgasmers won't ask that question. They wouldn't like the answer. Remember, it is fear that keeps them in their addiction, and they would rather keep their heads in the sand. The only time they ask that question is when it is time to stop. Help the porn masturbation orgasmer. Remove these fears. Tell him how marvelous it is not to have to go through life living in a prison. How lovely it is to wake up in the morning feeling fit and healthy, instead of lacking in energy and self-loathing. How wonderful it is to be free of slavery, to be able to enjoy the whole of your life, to be rid of those awful black shadows. Or better still, get him to read this book. It is essential not to belittle a married porn masturbation orgasmer by indicating that he is deliberately ruining his relationship or is in some way a cheat and is unclean. There is a common conception that the ex-porn masturbation orgasmer is the worst in this respect. I believe this conception has some substance, but I think that this is due to the willpower method of stopping. Because the ex-porn masturbation orgasmer, although he has kicked the habit, retains part of the brainwashing. Part of him still believes that he has made a sacrifice. He feels vulnerable, and his natural defensive mechanism is to attack the porn masturbation orgasmer. This may help the ex-porn masturbation orgasmer, but it does nothing to help the porn masturbation orgasmer. All it does is put his back up, make him feel even more wretched, and consequently make his need for porn masturbation orgasm even greater. Although the change in the medical establishment's attitude to internet porn is the main reason why many of porn masturbation orgasmers are quitting, it doesn't make it any easier for them to do so. In fact, it makes it a great deal harder. Most porn masturbation orgasmers nowadays believe they are stopping mainly for health reasons. This is not strictly true. Although the enormous health risk is obvious, the chief reason for quitting porn masturbation orgasmers have been sabotaging their virility for years, and it has made not the slightest difference. The main reason why porn masturbation orgasmers are stopping is because society is beginning to see porn masturbation orgasming for what it actually is: filthy drug addiction. The enjoyment was always an illusion. This attitude removes this illusion, so that the porn masturbation orgasmer is left with nothing. Many women and girlfriends now would ask questions if you are on your laptop in the middle of the night. The complete ban on porn in some countries or the unavailability of internet is a classic example of the traveling porn masturbation orgasmer's dilemma. The porn masturbation orgasmer either takes the attitude, okay, if I cannot porn masturbation orgasm during this time, I will find a way to abscond, which does no good for him if his job is hanging on it. Or he says, fine, it will help me cut down on my porn masturbation orgasming. The result of this is that instead of 1 or 2 a day, neither of which he would have enjoyed, he abstains for an entire week. During this enforced period of abstinence, however, not only will he be mentally deprived and waiting for his reward, but his body will have been craving too. Oh, how precious that online harem visit will be when he is eventually allowed to go. Enforced abstinence do not actually cut down the intake, because the porn masturbation orgasmer just indulges himself even more when he is eventually allowed to be alone. All it does is to ingrain in the porn masturbation orgasmer's mind how precious internet porn and porn masturbation orgasm are, and how dependent he is upon them. I think the most insidious aspect of this enforced abstinence is its effect on younger populations. We allow the hijackers of freedom of expression, the porn producers, to target unfortunate teenagers to get hooked in the first place. Then, at what is probably the most stressful period in their lives, when in their deluded minds they need porn masturbation orgasm most of all, we blackmail them into giving up because of the harm they are causing to themselves. Many are unable to do so, and are forced, through no fault of their own, to suffer a guilt complex for the rest of their lives. Many of them succeed and are pleased to do so, thinking, "Fine, I will do this for now, and after it's over, I will be cured anyway." Then comes the pain and fear of finding work, etc., followed by the biggest high of their lives, finding a job. The pain and fear are over. Then they feel secure, and the old trigger mechanism comes back into operation. Part of the brainwashing is still there, and almost before the smell of the new work laptop is gone, the porn masturbation orgasmer is at the threshold of his favorite online harem. The elation of the occasion blocks the foul feelings from his or her mind. She has no intention of becoming hooked again, but just one peek. Too late. She is already hooked again. The little porn monster has gotten into her body again. The old craving will start, and even if she doesn't become hooked again straight away, post-high depression will probably catch her out. It is strange that although heroin addicts are criminals in law, our society's attitude is, quite rightly, what can we do to help those pathetic individuals? Let us adopt the same attitude to the poor porn masturbation orgasmer. He is not doing it because he wants to, but because he thinks he has got to, and, unlike the heroin addict, he usually has to suffer years and years of mental and physical torture. We always say, a quick death is better than a slow one. So do not envy the poor porn masturbation orgasmer. He and she deserves your pity. Advice to non-porn masturbation orgasmers. Help get your porn masturbation orgasm friends to read this book. First, study the contents of this book, and try to put yourself in the place of the porn masturbation orgasmer. Do not force him to read this book, or try to stop him by telling him he is ruining his health or playing with fire. He already knows this better than you do. Porn masturbation orgasmers do not continue in it because they enjoy it or because they want to. They only tell themselves and other people this in order to retain self-respect. They do it because they feel dependent on porn masturbation orgasm, because they think that it relaxes them and gives them courage and confidence, pleasure or crutch, and that life will never be enjoyable without sex, their version of it. If you try to force a porn masturbation orgasmer to stop, he feels like a trapped animal and wants to be in his harem even more. This may turn him into a secret porn masturbation orgasmer, and in his mind, the porn will become even more precious. See Chapter 26. Instead, concentrate on the other side of the coin. Get him into the company of ex-porn masturbation orgasmers. There are many blogs, forums, etc. Your Brain on Porn, NoFap, etc. Get them to tell the porn masturbation orgasmer how they too thought they were hooked for life, and how much better life is as a non-porn masturbation orgasmer. Once you have got him believing that he can stop, then his mind will start to open up. Then start explaining the delusion created by withdrawal pangs. Not only are the dopamine rushes not giving him a boost, but they are destroying his confidence and making him irritable and tired. He should now be ready to read this book himself. He will be expecting to read pages and pages about unreliable arousal, fading penetrations, porn-induced erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, etc. Explain that the approach is completely different, and that references to illness are just a small fraction of the material in this book. Help during the withdrawal period. If you are dealing with a girlfriend or boyfriend, whether the ex-porn masturbation orgasmer is suffering or not, assume that she or he is. Do not try to minimize his suffering by telling him it is easy to stop. He can do that himself. Instead, keep telling him how proud you are, how much better he is looking, how much sweeter it is to be with him, how much easier he is in general. It is particularly important to keep doing this. When a porn masturbation orgasmer makes an attempt to stop, the euphoria of the attempt and the attention he gets from his friends and colleagues can help him along. However, they tend to forget quickly, so keep that praise going. Because he's not talking about porn masturbation orgasming, you may think he has forgotten about it and don't want to remind him. Usually, the complete opposite is the case with the willpower method, as the ex-porn masturbation orgasmer tends to be obsessed by nothing else. So do not be frightened to bring the subject up and keep praising him. He will tell you if he doesn't want you to remind him of porn masturbation orgasming. Get out of your way to relieve him of pressure during the withdrawal period. Try to think of ways of making his life interesting and enjoyable. This can also be a trying period for non-porn masturbation orgasmers. That is, those of you who have never had this addiction. If one member of a group is irritable, it can cause general misery all around. So anticipate this. If the ex-porn masturbation orgasmer is feeling irritable, he may well take it out on you, but do not retaliate. It is at this time that he needs your praise and sympathy the most. If you are feeling irritable yourself, try not to show it. One of the tricks an addict will play when trying to give up with the aid of the willpower method was to get into a tantrum, hoping that wife or friends would say, "I cannot bear to see you suffering like this. For goodness sake, have your poison." The porn masturbation orgasmer then does not lose face. As he isn't giving in, he is being instructed. If the ex-porn masturbation orgasmer uses this ploy, on no account encourage him to lapse. Instead say, "If that is what porn masturbation orgasm does to you, thank goodness you will soon be free. How marvelous that you have had the courage and sense to give up." Help in this scandal. In my opinion, internet porn is one of the dangers in a free society, piggybacking on the good-willed efforts of personal freedoms. Surely the very basis of civilization, the reason why the human species has advanced so far, is that we are capable of communicating our knowledge and experiences not only to each other, but to future generations. Even the lower species find it necessary to warn their offspring of the pitfalls in life. The producers of porn are not doing this in good faith, in the genuine belief that they help mankind, especially now as the addiction to internet porn is widely studied. Maybe, in its initial stages, people genuinely believed that porn taught intimacy to men and women, but today the authorities know that that is a fallacy. Just watch any tube sites nowadays. They make no claims about education. The only claims they make are about the shock, novelty, escalation quality of their clips. The sheer hypocrisy is incredible. As a society, we get uptight about school bullying and objectification of human body. Compared with internet porn, these problems are mere pimples in our society. 35% of the population have been addicted to porn, and most of them spend quality time with imaginary and illusory pixel people at the expense of health, virility, energy, and time. Tens of thousands of people have their lives ruined every year because they become hooked. Internet high-speed porn is by far the biggest killer in relationships, and yet the biggest vested interest is our for-profit companies. Internet porn producers do not spend on advertising the filth in mainstream publications. They don't have to. Our biological urges will lead us to the thresholds of their well-stocked internet harems. They give free samples just like your local drug dealer. Heck, the tube sites don't even stock the wares anymore, as they encourage visitors to post the content. How clever that porn companies show the 18+ warnings at their homepage as the deterrent for underage users. Some don't even bother to do that. Internet porn affects everyone at all ages. Quote, "We have warned you of the danger. It is your choice," is the attitude they have. Anyway, do they take any steps to verify age? No. That would discourage their customers. And of course, if age verification is legislated, they will find another country to host. Or they will pay some elite to write how prohibition resulted in bootlegging and the creation of the mafia. Conveniently forgotten is the question of why repealing prohibition did not result in the reduction of alcohol-related casualty numbers, and the contribution of the failure of law enforcement to control the mafia's growth. So let's not waste time in talking about them. I'm confident we can address this differently, by educating our younger generation. If they can step around the cigarettes and alcohol aisles at the local grocery shops, then they can do the same with internet porn too. Nicotine steals your health. Porn steals your hottie. A catchy meme indeed. The porn masturbation orgasmer doesn't have the choice any more than the heroin addict does. Porn masturbation orgasmers do not decide to become hooked. They are lured into a subtle trap. If porn masturbation orgasmers had the choice, the only porn masturbation orgasmers tomorrow morning would be the youngsters starting out and believing they could stop any time they wanted to. Why the phony standards? Why are heroin addicts seen as criminals, yet can register as addicts and get free heroin and proper medical treatment to help get off of it? Just try registering as a porn addict. If you go to your doctor for help, either he will tell you, stop doing it so much, try moderation, which you already know won't work, or he will prescribe something else to address your depression. Worse is the advice to go and find real partners. Seriously, do they know of porn masturbation orgasmers who find porn better and do it behind their partner's back? Some people just don't get it. Scare campaigns do not help porn masturbation orgasmers to stop. They make it harder. All they do is to frighten porn masturbation orgasmers, which makes them want to porn masturbation orgasm even more. They don't even prevent teenagers from becoming hooked. Teenagers know that porn kills their libido, but they also know one peak will not do it. Because the habit is so prevalent, sooner or later the teenager, through social pressures or curiosity, will try just one visit. And because the free porn has awful clips, he will probably become hooked. Why do we allow this scandal to go on? Why doesn't our government come out with a proper campaign? Why doesn't it tell us that internet porn is a drug and a killer poison? That it does not relax you or give you confidence, but destroys your nerves, and that it can take just one peek to become hooked? Why can't they enforce age verification by requesting a registered credit card, maybe with a third-party company? I remember reading H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. The book describes an incident in the distant future in which a man falls into a river. His companions merely sit around the bank like cattle, oblivious to his cries of desperation. I found that incident inhuman and very disturbing. I find the general apathy of our society to the porn masturbation orgasm problem very similar. We find characters in movies and TV series talking about or even engaging in porn in a casual way. Why do we allow society to subject healthy young teenagers, youngsters whose lives are complete before they start to get online, to claim their independence just for the privilege of destroying themselves mentally and physically in a lifetime of slavery, a lifetime of filth and disease? You may feel that I overdramatize the facts. Not so. There are cases where lives were cut down in his early years of marriage because of porn masturbation orgasm. He was a strong man and might still have been alive today. I believe I was within an inch of porn-induced erectile dysfunction during my 40s, although I would have attributed it to my divorce rather than to porn masturbation orgasm. I now spend my life being consulted by people who have been crippled by the disease or are in the last stages. And if you care to think about it, you probably know of many too. There is a wind of change in society. A snowball has started that I hope this book will help turn into an avalanche. You too can help by spreading the message.